Hey everyone, I'm here today with a 12 by 12 mixed media layout tutorial for you using my Destination Unknown collection that I designed for 7 Dot Studio and a few other products as well. I really need to get into making some layouts with Destination Unknown. I've been doing other things, but I'm really excited to show you this layout. Anyways, I started off with the piece. You know what? It sounds so funny now that I say this. I'll have to put the name of this piece of paper below. I think it's Journey, but I'm starting out with you can see it's the dark teal with the teal overlay, and I'm scraping on some gesso. And when I started, I thought that I wanted a right hand sided layout, and because I tend to do small pictures with a lot of embellishing, well here, so you can see I was using a paddle to apply that gesso. It's just a nice thick gesso to the Destination Unknown paper. And I'm trimming up this little picture that I have, and just by the editing I did, it ended up being kind of this like really great turquoise and purple shadows, so it goes really well with this page. And here I've got some Heidi Swap stars, and I am spraying them with Ranger and Tim Holtz's Distress Stain spray, but I actually end up not using these. I thought at first that I really loved the way they looked, but when I put them on the picture later or put them on the layout, the colors don't match well enough. Oh, right there. The colors don't match well enough for me, so I'll end up setting those to the side. But I do know that I want to do Twinkle Twinkle Little Star in this layout. So I'm going back to that spray a little bit, and I'm altering the color by adding water to it, and then I also get a second spray here in just a minute. So this one is Broken China, and then I put that away and I pick up, I think it's Peacock something, but I'll get the name of that one specifically as well, okay? So that's really helping this color kind of blend a little bit more into the background and be a little bit truer. Then I'm also splattering some black acrylic paint, and it's Golden Fluid Acrylic by Golden, and it's been mixed with some airbrush medium. And now that everything's dry, I've got exactly where I want my picture. And I'm trimming the paper. I've been really intrigued by layouts that are not 12 by 12, and I thought that I could pull that off with this, and I'm not sure exactly where I was going because I think the other kind of unsquare standard size is 8.5 by 11, so anyways, you'll see how I fix that. I just traced where the square is going to be with a gray marker, and now I'm doing some writing with a fine liner, and this is my journaling for my layout. And only I can read it, and that's totally fine because it just means something to me. Then I'm taking a thicker, it's just a plastic bottle, and making a nice thick border where my picture, that'll be underneath my picture, and it'll come out along the edges. Giving it a quick dry, quick dry. Thank goodness for craft guns, huh? We could never move on. I've got this Viva Las Vegas stamp. It's these stars that I designed, and you can see there's a couple cutouts in the stars, and that is so that you can place the stars over and over, and it's a continued pattern. But for this, I'm just going from the top and the bottom borders and spreading those out. And I'm just covering the edges of the paper with the same archival ink by Ranger that I stamped in. I love archival because once it dries, it's permanent and I'm good to go. I'm putting some tape on the back of my picture and putting my picture in place. It's Miracle Tape by Viva Las Vegas Stamps. And you can see I laid down that doily. The reason I did that was so that I didn't get any wet paint that's on my work area. Now I'm pulling out some star confetti, little chipboard stars from Unwild Studio. I've also got some Finnabair silver glitter, totally gorgeous, by Prima Marketing. And I'm covering my stars in white gesso, and I've got a handful of them there. And then I just sprinkle them with this glitter. And I only do about 4 or 5 stars at a time because I don't want the gesso to dry completely before I can get some glitter on there. If the gesso's still wet, then it acts as an adhesive. And just spritz those little stars. I have them of all kinds of sizes. I have them in all kinds of sizes from the confetti pack. Then moving them to the side. And here's my really funny shaped layout as it is now. And I do this all the time. I place the pieces before I glue them down, and then I can see exactly where they're going to be. And I think it's pretty standard practice, but it's definitely a nice little tip. Just put all the pieces where you want them, then put a little bit of glue, and you can pick up the pieces one at a time, dab them into the glue, and then put them back exactly where they were before. I love the way these silver and white stars really shine on top of the blue and white background that I've been working on. And they look really great over the black too. And you can see at the bottom there, I also put one star overlapping the picture. Oh, there, now you can see them really well. I put one star overlapping the picture because that's important for continuity and it's not just separated. Now you can see I brought back in the 12 by 12 with just this piece of white corrugated board, and it's very cool. It has lots of texture. It's super thick. It definitely won't fit in a scrapbook, but that's okay. I put most of mine behind a frame. And I'm just running some double-sided adhesive along the back of my page so that I can put that down on top of the corrugated board and it will stay in place. There we are, looking good. Now I have gone through my stash and pulled out some different gems and brads that have, they're like epoxy brads and gem brads and things like that. And all in gray, white, and then I found one really cool blue one. So now I'm just placing those. And when I use the star confetti, I didn't bother counting them because I used so many. But when you're using brads or something in a smaller amount, go with odd numbers. And this is because your subconscious, your psyche, even numbers are unnatural in nature. And so you subconsciously enjoy odd numbers. 3 looks more correct than 4 or 2 generally. That's not always true, but it's just a good rule to kind of go by if you're ever wondering how many of something you should put down. If it's too many to count in just a second, don't worry about it. But if you can count them, tend to go with odd numbers if you can. Now I'm doing the top because I had already done the bottom. Easy peasy. And I'm finishing up with my title. It's a Dymo label maker, the vintage one with the actual tape, Twinkle Twinkle Little Star. Thanks so much for joining me. Feel free to subscribe. I've always got lots of videos, or I'm trying to work on lots of videos, I should say. And this was for 7 Dot Studio. And I'll see you next time. Thank you so much.